Hail, happy heathens! Strangers, travelers, kinsmen, and friends, welcome. This is another episode of Valhalla Runestones, brought to you by Hammer and Hearth. I want to first say thank you for bearing with me. I know that we are nearly a week since the last time I promised you a video. Today is Wednesday, March 1st. Obviously, I'm not so good at getting videos up on the day that I promise them to you. I'm going to stop promising you what day I'm going to have a video up. Know this, I do plan to try and have a video up, one video every week, hopefully on the same day every week. Until I find my groove, though, that day could vary. Item number 2. In my last video, I gestured a lot with this mug. I love this mug. But some people may have misconstrued it as indicating that I was speaking for the Department of the Defense, or the Military Chaplain Corps, the Navy Chaplain Corps, the Department of the Navy. Not true. I'm just a guy. And anything that I say here is my opinion. I don't speak for any official body. I do not have that authority or that power yet. So know that anything that you see here is strictly my opinion, my favorite mug. Today it happens to be filled with coffee that was roasted by one of my co-workers. He roasts his own coffee, thought I should give it a try. I must say, it's actually really good. All that being said, welcome to today's episode. Recently on the internet, I've seen a meme floating around. Now let me start by saying, I have absolutely nothing against reenactors. I myself am a reenactor. I participate in live-action role plays, medieval Renaissance festivals, medieval and Renaissance festivals. Yes, I realize the two are completely separate. And various other reenactments. What I'm talking about today are the folks who feel that in order to have some kind of communication with the divine, they have to completely shift their mind into that medieval Dark Age mindset. I know a number of Dianic followers, Dianic priestesses, and they don't run around in togas and sandals just to have a divine experience. They don't feel the need to recreate the glory days of Greece. Now, truth be told, they do run around in sandals, but that has nothing to do with religion and everything to do with the fact that they prefer sandals over regular shoes. Why do so many heathens feel the need to traipse around in woolen tunics and chainmail just to have a religious experience? Now, don't get me wrong. I love traipsing around in woolen tunics and chainmail. It's fun. I enjoy it. But I don't feel that it's necessary to have a spiritual experience. There's a young lady on YouTube. She's written a number of books and is probably far more learned on the subject than I am. Ms. Maria Kvelhog. She's the author of The Seeds of Yggdrasil, and her YouTube channel has a section by the same name. In The Seeds of Yggdrasil, part 16 of her Hidden Knowledge series, she has a video about ancient ritual and modern practice. And in that video, She has a lot to say, a lot of really good things to think about. But she points out that we would only trick ourselves if we believed that recreating ritual on an estimation of how our ancestors did it would do little more than placate our desire for the dramatic. It would only feed our imagination. She continues on to assert that there's nothing wrong with feeding the imagination, but she emphasizes we are not our ancestors. And she's right. Everything that we can do to recreate what our ancestors did is based on archaeological evidence, based on anthropological findings, based on our own interpretation of the myths, of the Edda, of the sagas, and our best guess at what could have happened, what could have been done. And it's a guess simply for the fact that for the past 1,500, 2,000 years, our faith has not been practiced out in the open. Sure, it survived underground and with little family traditions here and there passed down, and twisted here and there so as to look like still following the mainstream. But in their original, unadulterated form, our faith no longer exists. That's why they call it a reconstructed faith. From that assessment, Maria continues on to say, to remind us, our ancestors lived this faith. Their mindset, their worldview is what created the faith. It colored how they saw the world. And how they saw the world colored the myths. We may know a bit of the mythology. Many scholars suggest that we're still missing a chunk because much of our faith was oral tradition, not written down. The bits that were written down were tinted by many years separated from the original practitioners, were tinted by Christian scholars doing their best to write down the tradition, but they had their own worldview that tinted what they were writing. Therefore, the myths can never provide for us the same spiritual, mental, living, waking map that it provided for our ancestors. If you want to use the old myths, by all means, go ahead. I intend to. But don't fool yourself into thinking that you're exactly like our ancestors. You're not. Apply the myths to your life in this modern world. Adapt your own perceptions. See how they fit within what's being told. Now, some might view Maria's video, read the quote that I post here, and see an argument for the religious reenactor. The religious reenactor is striving to recreate the world that created the faith. They're trying diligently attempting to understand the mindset of our ancestors that gave birth to these sagas. By thrusting themselves into the world of the ancients, these folk hope to gain a clearer understanding of the faith. But again I say, it's merely a hope to glimpse into our ancestors' way of life. At the end of the day, these religious reenactors have the comfort of being able to go back home to central heat and air, to social media, to modern medicine. Things that we've grown up knowing that, frankly, many people take for granted, that our ancestors could only have dreamed of at best. And those things change the way that we view the world. Our world has grown exponentially smaller with the advent of social media, cell phones, instant news feeds, live television. Now, all of that put together does not negate the fact that the myths still hold relevance to us today. But we have to approach them from a modern mindset if we are to develop our own understanding of our faith. Our gods are still alive within each and every one of us. If it helps, try this on for size. Imagine Odin, a World War II veteran, his left eye rendered useless from the effects of mustard gas. Or Tyr, the Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran who lost his left arm while trying to defuse an IED. Perhaps Iduna has taken the form of that lady at your local farmer's market who sells the best apples you have ever tasted. Obviously, these are my own imaginings, my own views, thoughts, and most assuredly have a very American spin on them. But you get the point. Our gods, the Aesir, the Vanir, even the Jotun, are as relevant today to us as they were to our ancestors. But in new ways our forebears couldn't have possibly imagined. The gods are capable of understanding this. Capable of understanding us now, as capable as they have ever been. Don't be fooled by thinking that you have to go a Viking in order to have a spiritual experience. Walk your own path. Find what the Aesir and Vanir can show you about how to live in this modern world. This has been another episode of Valhalla Runestones, brought to you by Hammer and Hearth. I am Keeper Odinson, and until next we meet again, may the gods smile favorably upon you and yours. Skull.